How's it going, everybody? It's your friend Johan here, and today I'm going to be talking about the most important band in modern metalcore, Bring Me the Horizon. Now, I'm actually going to be watching Bring Me here in Toronto on April 28th alongside Motionless in White, Plotting You, and Amira El Feki. So I'm really excited to see all of them. But yeah, that's pretty much the main inspiration for today's video, because that's typically what you do before you go see a band, especially a band as monumentous as Bring Me. You'd want to revisit their whole discography and just re-familiarize yourselves with their songs. And yeah, I had a good time doing so, and I'm gonna have an even better time watching them live. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this, and please join me in revisiting Bring Me the Horizon's albums. Starting us off, we got Bring Me's debut record, Count Your Blessings, which came out in 2006. I guess the first thing that I'll say about this record is that with Count Your Blessings being their debut record, it's really impressive, just considering how well it aged sonically, at least to me. This is obviously Bring Me in their deathcore bag, and a lot of fans will swear that this is the best thing that Bring Me has ever put out, and I don't blame them. What makes me really impressed with just how Count Your Blessings is as an album is how skilled and how technical it is, considering how young the guys were when they dropped this record, or rather when they recorded this record. I think they were in their late teens or early 20s, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. And what sticks out to me the most is actually Lee Malia's guitar playing here. It's the best that I think Bring Me has, his noodling on Pray for Plagues, his soloing on Stevie Wonder, and then his riffing on Black and Blue. Everything about this album guitar wise is just my favorite among Bring Me's entire discography. And yeah, I've always held that this is one of Bring Me's better albums, and it's definitely in my top 3 on terms of which Bring Me albums that I revisit the most, not just for the sake of making this video, but just in general. Count Your Blessings is just a great album, great debut, great deathcore record, and just a great album, man. Up next, we got Bring Me's sophomore record, Season, which came out in 2008. And although this album does indeed slap, I'm not in love with it as much as I am Count Your Blessings. And obviously songs like, the opener, The Come Down, and the main single, Chelsea Smile, make this album very much a fun and enjoyable experience. For whatever reason, I can't really attach myself emotionally to Season as much as I do Count Your Blessings. And I know that's not necessarily the point with listening to all forms of music, let alone Bring Me. By no means do I think that this is a step down for the band. It's just a matter of my tastes. Yeah, I just rambled for no reason. I could have just said that. It's a matter of my tastes. However, what does make this album special is that this is the first time that we get to hear, I guess, Ollie's signature vocal style. That whole sing screamy thing that he does, because on Count Your Blessings it was just mostly the highs and lows of deathcore vocals, or what you would typically hear from a deathcore band. Here we actually have a vocal tone or a vocal technique that makes Ollie distinct as a frontman. So yeah, like I said, Season is a fun and enjoyable record. It's very punchy, it's very chuggy. I just like Count Your Blessings better. That's all there is to it. There is a hell, believe me, I've seen it. There is a heaven, let's keep it a secret. What an album title. This record is goated simply because whenever I think of Bring Me, I think of this record specifically, alongside their next record, which we'll get to soon. There is a Hell is actually my first impression of Bring Me, specifically their live performance on Yahoo Music of Crucify Me. Those were the days. With this record, this is the first time, I guess, the band starts introducing other elements that aren't just, chuggy guitars and loud drums, but also synth elements, pad elements that give it this more cinematic and atmospheric feel, making the Bring Me sound a lot bigger. And then obviously they would continue to do this in later works. I want to say that this era of Bring Me is also my favorite lineup of the band, as they had Jonah from I Killed the Prom Queen on rhythm guitar and backing vocals. And yeah, all the songs on this album are phenomenal. The highlights for me being the aforementioned Crucify Me, It Never Ends, Alligator Blood, Fuck, and Blessed with a Curse. Any album with these songs specifically would make it an S tier album, and yeah, this is why I think There Is a Hell is indeed a goated album. Not only do I believe that Sempiternal is Bring Me's best work, but it's also my favorite album from Bring Me, and it's one of my favorite metalcore records ever. I won't spend too much time talking about Sempiternal just because I'm pretty sure that I have spoken on this album in previous videos, or at least one of my previous videos. To me, this record is perfect. And the reason I say that is because the guys, I think, have mastered the art of songwriting on this album specifically. Not to, dismiss or degrade, their songs on their previous works, but on terms of just like making good songs that happen to be metalcore adjacent or heavy. They're just good songs from start to finish. Everything about this album is perfect. And yeah, there was only one album in 2013 that mattered, and it's Sempiternal. That's the Spirit's underrated just because it's severely overhated. I'll admit I was definitely one of those when I was younger and I only wanted to listen to heavier music. This album sounds too much like Linkin Park. Bring back the old Bring Me. Where's the deathcore? When you remove yourself from, your past relationships with a band's early works in their discography and just like listen to the record now as it is, it doesn't really matter which band made these songs. It's just the fact that these are good songs. Obviously, like the album opener Doomed is a fantastic song. True Friends, Follow You, Avalanche, these are all fantastic songs. But of course, the main standout here is Drown, which is the second to last song on the album. And to me, Drown is definitely like top 5 Bring Me songs of all time. Yeah, people just hate on this record unnecessarily, and I think it's not fair. So yeah, I think That's the Spirit is severely underrated. Let me tell you something. Live at Royal Albert Hall is one of, if not the best live performance that I've ever seen and listened to within my 28 years of existing. Even like, there was like this one time when I put this performance on, I was folding laundry, and my dad, who doesn't like metalcore, doesn't like metal, doesn't really like heavy music at all, he basically did this, that whole TikTok thing when, oh, I'm just gonna put on some music and then, to listen to, and then he did that thing, What makes it goated is because it already took a solid bunch of songs, accentuated them, and made them flourish in a whole new setting, in a whole new world. If I'm going to recommend anything to you guys or to anyone who doesn't listen to this band, please watch their Live at Royal Albert Hall performance. It's phenomenal, and it was for a good cause too. Music aside, this Bring Me the Horizon performance was in support of the Teen Cancer Trust, which is a UK charity. So not only was this performance a big landmark within Bring Me's discography, but it was also for like a good and just cause. I just love this performance so much. It leaves me speechless. Up next, we got Bring Me's 2019 record, Amo. And yeah, out of all the records that we've discussed so far, Amo is the only record that kind of leaves me feeling indifferent. The production and mix are great. The transitions from song to song are seamless, and the songs themselves are really enjoyable. I like Nihilist Blues, I like Mantra, I like Ouch, I like Medicine. Like, they're all fun songs. That's all I really have to say with this record. It's not bad. I just feel kind of indifferent towards it, and yeah, let's move on to the next. Music to listen to. I'm not going to say the whole album title just because it's really long and even longer than There's a Hell. Aside from the album title itself, what surprised me most about Music to Listen to is how much I enjoyed it. You would think that with an opening track that's 10 minutes long, I'd be rolling my eyes or something, but no, I was vibing. I was pretty immersed. My favorites on here are Candy Truck and the cut with Halsey, the upside down question mark one. I don't know how to pronounce that one. With all that being said, I am going to be sliding Music to Listen to right next to Amo in the OK tier, just because I have similar feelings towards it. I'm not in love with it, or at least I'm not in love with it in comparison to the previous albums that we've talked about. Following Music to Listen to, we got Bring Me's 2020 album, Posthuman, Survival Horror, and yeah, this record's good. Before I get into the music part of this record, I want to point out that Survival Horror is actually my favorite album art within the band's discography, and fun fact, Ollie's wife, Alyssic, or at least that's her artist name, she's the one who did the album art for Survival Horror, so shout out to her. This album is the best sounding album among all of Bring Me's albums, and that's because Jordan and Ollie really did their thing here. Like, Lee's guitar tone is perfect, Matt's drum sound is perfect, and the additional synths and pads provided by the legend himself, Mick Gordon, just elevate the whole thing to a new level. Though it's not necessarily my favorite, it's a solid record nonetheless. And finally, to wrap things up, we got Bring Me's other post-human album, that being post-human NeX GEn. This thing, I think, is the best thing that the band has released since Sempiternal. And if you guys know anything about me, I'm definitely the type of listener who prioritizes fantastic songwriting, whether it be, melodies within the singing itself or the instrumentation. Yeah, I just prioritize that. This record has a bunch of enjoyable ear candy hooks. The one that stands out to me the most is the hook on Kool-Aid. Nobody loves you like I love you. To me, that's just ear candy. I love everything about this record. I love the blend of metalcore, or at least the metalcore that Bring Me is known for, and hyperpop. I love Alysic's album art again. It's so much fun. It's so enjoyable. And that's why I, believe that it's the best thing that they've put out since Sempiternal. And yeah, this record's great. It really is a great record. And yeah, everyone, that's it. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really had a blast, revisiting Bring Me's discography, as they're one of my favorites. And like I said in the intro, they're one of, if not the most important band in heavy music. Yeah, kindly let me know if you want me to deep dive into another band's discography, Architects, ABR, Parkway Drive. Maybe I'll do Motionless in White next, because I am going to be seeing them alongside Bring Me. Let me know what you want to see, and I'll do my best to accommodate. Thank you guys so much again. I'll see you next time. Peace.